Welcome back to Mayor's Update. We are really pleased to be here again to talk about the goings-on at City Council and in our city. It's been a fantastic week. We're in the middle of just after Victoria Day, long weekend, and I hope everybody had a fantastic long weekend and stayed dry and warm, because it sure wasn't where I was. Let's talk a little bit about some of the goings-on at Council last night. Reference Committee last night, we talked considerably about transit. The transit survey that we asked you all to go online and fill out, you did. It was, according to the consultant, one of the biggest responses they've ever had. Over 780 people answered the survey, 250 of which were regular transit users, and those are the people we really wanted to get the information from. And guess what? You told us we had some needs. You told us we could do better, and we're listening. We spent a lot of time last night talking about, now that we know, we've talked to the people we have, what are the next steps, the second and third steps. We know we have to improve the service from a time and quality point of view. We're adding the Sundays and the later shifts, and we're discussing a number of ways we can do that with bus on call systems or different transit pieces that are not just buses driving around a straight route. But we'll get back to you on that. We're really working on that. We're working a lot on the what about London? How do we get our transit system connected to London? And some really positive news there, and a lot of great feedback from all of you on what would work, what we need. We've got to be able to get people to work, to school, and to medical appointments in London. And we're not recognizing that London is also a lot of people coming out here every day to work also. And if we can make sure that transit's being used both ways, people coming from London to here and from here to London, then that will work. But inside our own city, there's also a couple of other hotspots that we really currently don't service well. Our industrial area off Edward Street, the income area there, needs a little better service. In some of the new subdivisions in the south part of St. Thomas, we know we have to extend some routes or come up with a new route. And a lot of conversation about how can we service the Lyndhurst section of Central Elgin and Southwold, being part of right next door to St. Thomas. How can we do a better job of doing that too? But more to come. We're not there yet. The study was just finished, but we got our quick look at it last night. Some good conversation with the transit study on how to make it work. We really great questions from council, and we're looking forward to further reports coming back on some of this costs and getting our application into the provincial government on some of the grant money that they have. The rest of last night's reference committee meeting was about housing. A week ago at council, we had kind of the 5-year report of the 10-year report on housing, and we talked about where we were, where our failings were, where our blessings were. Well, last night was a little more of where the rubber hits the road. To use technical terms, CHIPPY, it's a fund of money that the province gives us to distribute for housing. So we're talking about how we have distributed in the past and what we can do going forward. And we have a lot of great partners in our community, whether it's the YWCA, In Out of the Cold, CMHA. They all do housing in their own fields, and they're better at it than we are. And so we help fund their organizations to give better homelessness and housing results in our community. So we're looking at how better to do that. In one general sense, we're going to put people closer to people. We're going to put some of our housing experts closer to people who are homeless, near homeless, threatened by homelessness, and need better housing. To do that one-on-one, how can we help you? What would prevent this from happening again? What would make you permanently housed for a year or two longer than us just putting up a shelter bed and keeping somebody warm for the night? We'll need to do that, of course, too, but we want to make sure it's not an ongoing thing. So that's what we're looking at from a housing point of view. Again, about an hour of that last night, way more to come, and some way more measurement tools as to how we can keep addressing housing in our community. On top of that, we've had lots of discussions with what can we do to build more housing, especially market rent apartments. And so we're reaching out to just about everybody we can who's got a hammer and saw and saying, come to St. Thomas and please build. We have a need of 1,500 to 2,000 market rent apartments. Please come on out and help us with that, and we'll be ready to help too, right? Housing is it's so funny last night that council meeting was both transit and housing, my two favorite topics. It seems if you get to see the rest of the office, there's big posts all over the wall about transit and housing, and we need to move forward on that. But some of the other fun things we talked about last night at council also was we're finishing the piece of Southdale Road down to connect with Shaw Valley. So there's a cooperative water road work happening with Central Elgin there, and that will help give a back way in and give some servicing, both wastewater and water to those houses on Southdale Road. Hey, here's a fun one. Horton Market. I know we talked about this in one of our other mayor's reports, but we talked about the paving of the parking lot. It's got some bad potholes in it, so it needs to happen. But we said, what could we do with a large piece of pavement like that? And, some of our great city staff have come back with the thought that maybe we can make 3 basketball courts for youth, for maybe 3-on-3 basketball tournaments, or just for extra playground in the area. The parking lot is heavily used Saturdays when the market is in use, and would be used again if the market was being used for anything else, right? But this lets us set it aside 5 days a week or 6 days a week as basketball courts and use it when it needs to be parked. So we'll, before the end of summer, we will be paving that parking lot and hopefully coming up with some other uses for it. And it will be a lot of fun to see people in that neighborhood using that facility when it's not just Saturday market. Horton Market's been doing great after its couple weeks so far into this season. We will look forward to seeing you out there again Saturday morning. Couple things to finish today. We had a fantastic week last week. We're up to the Special Olympics in Toronto. A couple of the teams from St. Thomas, floor hockey team and basketball team, we met them on the street. We were in a fan zone outside of Varsity Stadium, and we kept meeting people from all across Canada and Special Olympic teams. And you want to be cheered up, you come to a Special Olympic event. It's nothing but fun. But we met the St. Thomas teams, floor hockey team and basketball team, and they ended both winning gold medals at the Special Olympics. And so we were over at Arthur Voden yesterday for the Parade of Champions, and you've never seen smiles like this. It just is the happiest thing you've ever seen. And so congratulations, and thank you for making St. Thomas just a little more proud last week and this week of our Special Olympians. Another reminder for those of you watching, please get your questions and comments in. We'd love to cover it at council or cover it here in the Mayor's Update. Any question you have about the city, anything we can tell you about, answer your questions on. We've covered everything from pollution control to goats. So come on, get your questions in, and we'll be happy to see you next week on Mayor's Update.